This week, I want to share one of my absolute favorite biblical verses with you so we can try to fully understand what it means. Shalom, my friends. Yes, I have a wonderful verse to share with you today. It comes from one of the books of the biblical prophets. This one is the prophet Micah. Micah lived over 700 years before the year 1 of the Common Era, at the same time that the prophet Isaiah lived. In fact, there's an important passage that appears in both Isaiah and Micah, and they're identical, word for word. Maybe we'll look at that one day. A little bit of background information. According to Jewish tradition, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, contains 613 commandments. A sacred set of books in Judaism is the Talmud, which says that Micah took the 613 commandments and reduced them to 3. What are the 3? Practice justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. The first 2 are self-explanatory. The third is a bit more obscure. What does it mean to walk humbly with God? Well, the Talmud focuses on the verb walk and interprets Micah as saying it means anonymously assisting the needy in holding weddings and funerals, because brides and grooms are escorted to the wedding canopy and the dead are escorted to their graves. That's the walking. It's an interesting interpretation, but I think the verse means much more than that. So let's begin with the idea of walking with God. I think that's a reference to a statement in Genesis that says the ways of God are to do what is right and just. Walking with God means to do what is right and just, and that's fine. But it's not all that different from the first 2 clauses of Micah's verse, so let's focus not on simply walking with God, but doing so humbly. Humility is a wonderful virtue. I think the opposite of humility is conceit. So let me ask another of my rhetorical questions. Do you prefer to be in the company of conceited people or humble people? Let's dig down just a bit more and look at what humility might entail. One of the great medieval Jewish sages, known by the nickname Nachmanides, said, quote, "Haughtiness towards people is rebellion to God." How about that? He's telling us that God wants us to be humble because when we are humble, we treat one another better. And I believe with every fiber of my being that, like any parent, one of the most important things to God is how his children treat one another. Micah is expanding his teaching to go beyond justice and kindness. He's saying that as important as the first 2 are, we can do even more. And when we do, doing it with humble respect for the feelings of your fellow man is the ideal. My friends, I'm happy to tell you that this channel about the ultimate issues of life, such as today's topic of how we treat each other, is growing faster all the time. Many of you are new subscribers, so welcome and thank you. If anyone would like to support our work even more actively, consider becoming a patron of the channel, like those whose names are on the screen now. You can do so for as little as $3 a month using the link immediately below the video. And of course, if you have not yet subscribed so that you will be notified whenever a new video comes out, you can do so at no cost by clicking on my face right over here, or watch the very important last video released by clicking on its icon right over there. Please give us that YouTube's thumbs up. As ever, until next time, Shabbat Shalom.